welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. This is Paula. Today's video is going to be on Elder Futhark runes. First off, there is in the description box a link to a Google Doc that gives you a little bit of the history, the actual rune meanings, and also some suggested ways to do rune castings. These are very basic, very high level meanings. This is in no means a deep dive into runes. Okay, this is high level kind of stuff. Okay, there is another creator on YouTube. Her name is Freyia Norling. I will link her channel in the description box. She started a series on runes, and she is a fantastic creator. She is a solitary practitioner. She is a Norse witch. She walks the Norse path. So, you know, in her series, if you want deep dives on runes and their meanings and the origins of the runes, please check her content out. She is a fantastic creator. I have learned so much from her, and I really do, you know, recommend her channel to you guys. She is fantastic. Now, what are runes? Okay, let's go back to, you know, the origins of the word rune. Okay, the English word rune comes from the Norse word rune, which means secret or to whisper. There were also other words in Germanic and Celtic cultures that have a very similar meaning. There's Old Norse rune, meaning secret or mystery. There's the Old Irish word rune. They're basically spelled the same. And Middle Welsh rune, both translated as mystery, secret, or whispered. And then there's the Scots word rune, which is to whisper, to speak much and often about one thing. The root for the English word of rowan tree comes from the Norse word runa. Okay, and you all know rowan trees are very sacred in many pagan traditions, and it's used widely for protection. So it's also, the rowan tree is sometimes called the rune tree or the whisper tree in some of those traditions. So a very broad history of runes. Okay, they are a runic script. It was a manner of an alphabet for Germanic languages. They were originally used for the script and magic. They were not originally used for divination purposes like they are today. You stop and think about, like, writing, the history of writing in alphabets, because that's what a runic script is. It's basically another type of alphabet. You know, you started out with like pictographs and caves and things like that, and then hieroglyphs. And the first like conversion to like an alphabet kind of script was in Egypt. Okay, that started the you know, getting away from like picture-based hieroglyphs and pictograms. And then there was the Greek alphabet, there was the Phoenician alphabet. So somewhere between 300 BCE and 100 CE, an old Italic alphabet kind of turned into the runic alphabet to represent the sounds common to the Germanic languages. Okay. And then this script was then passed, the runic alphabet was then passed between the various tribes, you know, through trade and various regions of the Germanic regions, and went all the way up to the coast of the North Sea and up into Scandinavia. However, by the 15th century, Christianization drove many of the religious traditions throughout Europe underground and basically obliterated some, because runes were used for a magical practice. Their use was banned numerous times throughout the Middle Ages, okay? Luckily, the Germanic peoples held on to their runes, to their runic script. Now, I said before that runes started out, you know, as a script and into magic. The runes were also used to incorporate into magical chants. They would sing basically verses about the runes in their chant to then harness the universal power, not using personal power to bring about a change, to do something. So, you know, it was also used to sing, create chants, and other magical practices, okay? Runes were also inscribed in rune stones. Runes were also used as a method of communication or documenting something. And there are thousands of rune stones all throughout, you know, Scandinavia. There are, like, I believe between 1,000 and 3,000 in Sweden alone. So it was not until 1982 when Ralph Bloom wrote an English translation of the runes that it started to become popular and used in modern neo-pagan practices for divination. Prior to that, was not used for divination. This is a modern take on things, okay? There was also another book that was published by Edred Thorson in 1984. So the actual practice of using runes in divination is a relatively new practice in neo-paganism. Prior to that, as I've said, it was runic magic, okay? So how was it done? Okay, runes in magic. It was done, runes were inscribed into weapons, you know, for protection and bravery in battle. They were also used to create talismans. Memorial stones were had runes carved on them to ensure the safe passage of the deceased into the afterlife, okay? And in Norse mythology, runes existed, you know, since the beginning of time and are actually, in their mythology, older than the gods themselves, okay? So runes were often incorporated into like magical formulas, prayers, invocations, those chants, symbols, in other words, that was spell work, okay? They were often drawn in blood, using body fluids, inks that were made up, things like that, or they were like engraved, okay? And most of the time, once that spell work was done, like on a staff or something like that, when that when that rune was used for whatever magical purposes, it was then destroyed. Okay. Runes were often carved onto sticks or strips of wood that came from like fruit bearing trees. Okay. Runes were also used to draw lots, to distribute lands among the community. Okay. Editing Paula here. The videos are getting too long, so what I'm going to do is cut this one here and leave it as an introduction into runes, and we will pick up in the next video for the meaning of runes, and then after that we will do one on how to do a divination reading using Elder of Futhark runes. So back to the video. Okay, so with that, my friends, you know what I always say: merry we did meet, merry we will part until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.